You know what a camera is great for? It's a great way to meet people. Especially if you're walking around with an old Rolleiflex or an old film camera. There's something about them that intrigues people, and it creates conversation, and it allows you to access people, and then they may let you photograph them if you ask. And I like the fact that cameras can do that. Cameras can draw people together, and I use that a lot when I'm out and about and I'm shooting with older cameras. It does tend to bring people in to say, hey, what is that? And so much of what we do as photographers is connection. You know, so much of it is we're working with people, or even if we're connecting to landscapes, we're out there to like make a connection. And sometimes the camera, when you're talking with people, is really a great way to get that conversation started. So I wonder if any of you have had any situations where your camera was the way in to something. You know, back in the day, in the 60s and 70s, when photographers like Jim Marshall were shooting the Rolling Stones and all the early concerts from, you know, British invasion, they said they would often just show up at the gate with their cameras and people would assume they belong in there. Cameras are an introduction. Cameras are a way to get seen and to be approached as you must be a photographer. And if you're enthused about it, like I am, it helps because I have a lot of energy to like engage with people, and I don't, you know, run away from those opportunities. I just love doing that. So I'd be curious to see what your experiences have been, and are you also using your camera in that way, or does it work for you, or does it ever, you know, I think sometimes a big Nikon or a big Canon DSLR may actually push people away because they feel like a long 70 to 200 2.8 lens on a camera, it looks like you have a battle Canon, and I don't know if that's necessarily the best way to connect to people. But they also would suspect that you're a working pro, and they would suspect that you belong there with that equipment. So there are different perceptions based on what kind of equipment you're carrying and how you're carrying yourself. And I know even for myself, when I'm shooting street, being a former photojournalist for a daily newspaper, you would go to a city street to shoot a story about the street, and you would go there and shoot everything and everybody, and you had license to do it because you were working for someone. I still use that same mentality and approach. I'll go out there and I'll hold my camera up and I'll just keep shooting. And if people see you not hiding it, you're actually out there very deliberately. As they walk past, you may be shooting them, and if they do walk past, they'll tend to think, oh, he was waiting for me to pass so he can shoot something else. But they don't always know that they were the subject of your photo. But the point of having that camera up and walking, you can use that as a way to say, I belong here and I own this space. And they will say, yes, he does. Yes, you do. So those are some observations about cameras and how we engage with people and how they're a great introduction or a great communication tool about who we are. And hopefully we get to meet some really fun, interesting people as a result. All right. Send your comments to the links below, and I look forward to bringing you another one of these soon. Hit the subscribe button if you're enjoying it. Thanks.